Hello and welcome to the Team Meta College Conference Spring Showdown. Orange corner as red. Oh my goodness, watching it as it
being like a void space for community building.
Now you can see these freshmen and sophomores that have not had that interaction at all, completely online because of COVID.
Oh my gosh, Osaka!
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Chase Kurtz. And joining us today on Age of Coronavirus College Edition, we have Chase Kurtz, Juniata College. He is the head coach and director of that esports program. We also have Kyle Welch, who is a rifler and supporting player for CSGO. Tomas Kofroth, he is the CSGO captain. And Max Prosser, he is the CSGO player and also director of media for Juniata College. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too. So Alex, I know you got in back in 2020, coronavirus hit and kind of put a damper on things. You were doing really well. So tell us that experience.
Yeah, so I got started in college. So I actually went to Susquehanna University and we had a collegiate club team. It wasn't anything huge, but it's kind of where I got my feet wet and getting the esports experience that I needed to come here. After I graduated in 2019, I got hired as the program director here. And we started off with one League of Legends recruit as I came in and no facility. Mm-hmm. And since 2019, we've been slowly building things up. And in 2020, we had our first season with League of Legends. And then obviously that was cut short because of coronavirus. But through the whole thing, we've managed to stay pretty strong and say we've actually built up our esports program since then. We started off with just League of Legends and Smash Brothers here on campus. And then last year, during the COVID season, as everyone seems to dub it, we added CSGO as well as Rocket League to our arsenal. So we currently have four titles under the program, and we're also looking to add Overwatch this year as our fifth. So we're doing tryouts for that in October, and hopefully that goes well. We currently have about 40 people under the program, so definitely seen a lot of steady growth.
Well, that's amazing. I mean, I know it must have been tough. What were the big hurdles that you ended up having?
Sure, I would say there's the obvious ones. So obviously we've had to mask up in the facility. Yeah. Right now we're not wearing them. As the students are at the rigs, they have plexiglass in between them, so they're able to take off the mask while they're playing. But the moment they get up, they have to have the mask on. And like I mentioned, the plexiglass, we had to add those in between the rigs. Originally, we had to social distance space them apart before the plexiglass was added, so we actually only got to use half of our rigs that we had in our facility for the first month or so. So that was kind of a big challenge. I'd say the biggest one in terms of operating was the fact that a lot of students had to come in and kind of have their first year in their college experience kind of hindered by Corona. You had a lot of students playing from their rooms at times. There was one point where we had a player test positive, and due to contact tracing, all of us are around each other a lot. So our esports program effectively had 2 weeks where we kind of had to shut down a little bit. We actually took some of the rigs. It was CS had a game that week, so we had to take 5 of the rigs and put them in the CSGO players' rooms and get them all hooked up and ready to go, just so they could play their match. So that was a little bit of a logistical nightmare. But
right.
Honestly, I can't praise the students enough for how well they handled it. They basically said okay, we understand things are going to be different this year, but they were really understanding on how we had to run things, how we had to follow all the school guidelines, all the CDC guidelines. And we were able to have a successful year despite all of that. So I was really proud of them for really stepping up to the plate for that.
Well, here's a specific question for each of you guys, and you could do it in turn. For the CSGO team, how did dealing with these hurdles from coronavirus affect your performance? Or maybe it made you stronger, I don't know.
Just thinking about it, for me, I think coronavirus got me more into a video game mood than anything. We're being forcibly placed under lockdown and we're being placed in a situation where we have nothing else to do. So it kind of made it convenient that I happened to be playing Counter-Strike at that time, and we had a practice schedule, we had a game schedule, and it kept me, I think it kept me sane at times, honestly, man. Just having some sort of schedule to my life during coronavirus and a team environment where I could, get on and play with these guys every night was a positive in my life, I think. I think some of the biggest reasons that it was a problem with coronavirus here was like Kyle said, like some of the logistical issues with that first month where, we had to like practice in different rooms, and like it was like two people in this room that we're in right now, and then two people in the front room, and just a big nightmare. But I think overall, Counter-Strike's been like having Counter-Strike during that time of coronavirus was actually a big positive for me.
Would you say that, there weren't that many distractions because of that? So that you can maybe focus a little bit more?
Yeah, I'd say so, because it was like, I commute to Juniata. I'm from the area, so for me it was waking up. I do my Zoom classes, and then the expectation was kind of most nights that I would play from home because it wasn't really like deemed safe to like go into campus. So yeah, like it would really help me focus on my studies and focus on Counter-Strike and just trying to get better and just trying to be the best teammate that I can be.
Playing during COVID was definitely a time where I saw the great improvements within my abilities. I just had the time to put in the effort, put in the time, and just grind out with these 5 people. And it just definitely helped me grow faster into a captain role, into an in-game leader role, as well as better my skills in and out of the map, and just to help me overall.
Does the leadership of that captain role come easier to you as a player, or do you think that it was just the circumstances that really just paved the way?
Sort of came natural. I used to play on an amateur team back in Asia, in Kathmandu, Nepal, and knowing how team-based CS worked, I was able to use what I learned there, where I was an opper as my primary role, and come here and help sort of build the program with CS, and then move into that captain role and help teach them what I know as a captain, and continue to grow as a player while doing so.
Let's get perspective on that same question with Kyle. Now you're the rifler, you're the supporting for CS:GO. How were you able to figure out communication during this time?
It was really like a bad situation because we were all stuck in our room and stuff, and it gave us time to like communicate more. So it gave us something that we can do, enjoy, and just have some company because we were all stuck in our rooms. And it kind of helped us integrate our team. We created connections, so we knew how each other played off each other. I knew when I could flash for someone. I knew when I should drop a smoke, and it just made our team like a well-oiled machine during this time.
What is it about becoming a well-oiled machine? How do you develop that intuition where your fingers are kind of responding faster than your brain in a way?
I'd say it kind of happens when you can trust your teammate to have your back at all times. So if you're in a match and you have a teammate that you're like, will he have my back? Will he do the flash right? Will he smoke the site right? It's going to make it very difficult for you to be 100% in on the plan. You're going to be tentative, where if you're a well-oiled machine, you know exactly what you're doing. You know the flashes, you know the smokes, you know what your teammates are going to do, you know they have your back, and you're ready to go and win the round.
Alex, what was the most surprising thing since you started in 2020 bringing this team together?
I'd say just the success that they had right away. We finished top 16 in NACE in our first season, and none of the players here that are currently on the roster were somebody that I recruited into the program. So these were just 5 students that we've basically had on campus. Say Tomas came to me and said, like, I have this experience, I want to start CSGO. And Max had already the year before said, like, hey, we should potentially look into a CSGO roster. I said, if you can find the people, let's make it happen. And with Tomas coming in saying, like, yeah, I have experience being a captain on a team over in Asia. And I was like, perfect. That's awesome. There's our IGL. That's the hardest one to find for any CS or Valorant or any FPS team. I was like, okay, we found that. Let's go. And then we managed to pull together the rest of the roster. And despite being a roster that, like, if you look at us on paper, like, our facet levels aren't super high. Like, with all the players, like I said, nobody here is technically recruit under like me. They just happened to be here. This team gelled incredibly fast. They all understood what they needed to do. They were all dedicated to practice, and they came in and they started beating teams that when they first started in scrims, they were getting kind of stomped a little bit. I mean, Slippery Rock is one of the main teams that we've got to scrim a lot over, say, the past year and a half. And when we first started scrimming, they were beating us 16-2, 16-3. Like, they were basically just clean sweeping us. And then by the end of the year, we were consistently beating them in scrims. And that just shows like how well Tomas, Max, Kyle, and then the rest of the team just like really like sat down and like put in the effort to actually make this roster a well-oiled machine, as Kyle said, and just play to the best of their abilities. And honestly, that's kind of like the thing I'm most proud of since this roster's kind of formed, is just how well they've managed to overcome COVID, overcome the hurdles of having some players that don't necessarily have much competitive experience in the game, into forming a competitive roster that can actually take rounds, take games off of some schools and some other teams that are actually on paper a lot better than us.
Right. Well, that's amazing to hear. And also, you know, doesn't it kind of take you aback, Alex? The tide is turning on how people view esports, in particular parents. You know, what do you hear from these players' parents that it clues you into? Like, I mean, you're taking things very seriously. You got a diet, you got a regimen going. I mean, what has been their response?
Overwhelmingly pretty positive. So I know that even when I was growing up, I mean, my mom was one of those parents that was like, don't sit in front of the TV too long to burn your eyes out of your socket. Video games are going to rot your brain.
Right.
So. And then over the past couple of years, I think with esports becoming a lot more mainstream, they're seeing a lot of possible ways that this could maybe become a living for some of these players, could eventually end up in a career path, which is something that we've tried to set up here in our program, is also some team staff stuff that they can get some real world experience doing things outside of playing. For the most part, a lot of the parents are pretty positive. It's very rare that I run into a parent nowadays that's just like, are they going to play nothing? They're going to do nothing but play video games and just sit in like the dark corner of the facility. I'm like, it's more than that. We run this like a sports team. And say, Kyle was a baseball player. He can attest that like we run this very much like a sports team here.
Yeah.
We have regimented practices. We make sure that if you're in here, it's go time. You're not just sitting around. You're not just playing random games on the computer. You're in here to practice. You're in here to compete, and you're in here to win. And once the parents kind of hear that side of things, for the most part, 99.99% of the time, they're on board.
We'll start with Tomas. What's been a very special memory that you've shared in your gameplay with your teammates that you would like to share with us today?
The most important thing that I have shared with them is definitely our official match against Slippery Rock University. Like Alex said before, we were getting pummeled by them 16-2, 16-3, just all the time. And then we put our heads down. We moved through that. We took it as a stepping stone. And at the end, we were down 5-10 on Inferno during our official match. And halftime came, and I looked at them and said, it's time. And we ended the game 16-10 in our favor. It was one of the best maps and best team performances I've ever seen out of any team I've been on. And it was something that I loved sharing with them, because we look back at that and just smile.
That must have been very exhilarating.
It really was. It just, round after round, you're in positions where you're down 3 players and you pull out some magical round, like Welchie or Kyle is known as like the smoke god, just because he'll spray a smoke, pick up 2, and that was just happening back and forth every single round. And it wasn't just, it was the whole team that was doing it. I saw shines, I saw like light, and everyone was playing their best game, and we were that well-oiled machine, like Welchie keeps on talking about.
Yeah, I have a lot of just memories of like us having very important rounds, and me and Tomas would sit next to each other usually, and even though there's plexiglass, we'd always be doing like fist bumps through the plexiglass, and it was just kind of our thing. And there was like a specific game in general that I kind of forget what team it was, but we were having all kinds of problems trying to get the game set up, and they just kind of rubbed us the wrong way, and just winning that game just felt so good that we were all just like, we won the game, and we all just stood up and was like celebrating. And it was just like that team dynamic that everyone wants to see we were having at that moment.
I'm an actor also by trade, and when I was doing acting classes, if the mood caught you, my teacher would say, "Oh, the acting god smiled upon you." And the way you describe this is the way I think it just feels like there's this energy, this collective energy, and everybody's just in sync. It's just this synchronicity that catches you.
Yeah, definitely. When that energy happens, every team that has that energy is extremely hard to beat, no matter what level they are. And every time we got that, that's one of the most memorable moments that I have so far.
Tell us more about your diets and regimen, Alex.
Every team that we have under our banner right now has dedicated time in our facility. That's basically just for them. No one else is coming in. You can't use the computer. Like if you're on a different team, if you're a team staff, those computers aren't yours for those times. So they'll come in, they'll have that dedicated, normally between like 5 and 8, sometimes 8 to 10, depending on what teams are coming in, or if there's games that maybe conflict with certain practice times, we'll have to move things back. But for the most part, every team has at least 3 days in this facility where it's go time. They're going in. As for specific training regimens and stuff that we don't have anything specifically set up for like gym time. However, most of our players have actually come from traditional athletics. So I actually haven't had to do too much of like persuasion into getting them to go exercise or go eat right, because most of them already know it. Like Kyle used to play baseball, Max used to play soccer, so did Tomas. So Quentin also plays sports that's on our team. So like basically almost all of our players that we've had have some sort of traditional sports background where they're already in the gym just on their own accord, which is awesome to see.
When Alex approached you about this is what we're going to do, have a diet that's like this, how did you guys feel at the start of that?
I mean, for me, it was pretty normal. I was used to having these diets, used to having specific times I had to be at stuff. So it really wasn't that big of a change for me. It was just a different setting. Instead of playing baseball, I was playing CS. Right. So it really wasn't a big change for me.
For me personally, like I never played any college sports like Kyle did. I played soccer all through high school and all through that stuff. So, obviously in that situation, you're not getting like the dietary recommendations and stuff like that they would have at like this collegiate level. But when originally coming into Counter-Strike and like hearing Alex talk about like the expectations of eating right and also like making sure you're exercising decent amount of time, I really try to embrace that because I saw the type of person that it made me when I'm eating, a really well-balanced diet and also getting some exercise in before I go to play. It really does produce a better player overall. I can see myself as a better player whenever I'm eating, if I'm eating chicken and rice and broccoli in comparison to eating a McDouble or eating fast food in general, like before I go play, or drinking water, just very basic human things that Alex, suggested for us to do that did give us good results. It worked.
Yeah. I swam, ran track, played soccer all throughout high school, and moving to more of a college level esports team where you're sort of just sitting in a chair, that worked for me for a while, like mentally, but then I would go out for runs, I would go out and swim, I would go out and just kick a ball around, and that would help me reset my mental capability so that I could do what I needed to do in game. What is one challenge that you wanted to improve upon, and how did you make it succeed? And we'll start with Tomas. The one thing that I really needed to or wanted to work on was how I talk to my players. I'm oftentimes very upfront with what I say, and that's not in a bad way. It's more of like, hey, you need to do this now or this, and realizing I feel like I've gotten better with it, but realizing that I need to be like, hey, more like after the game or like in game, like, hey, next round, could you potentially do this, instead of like, you need to do this now, instead of just like the wording with what I say and how I say it and when I say it. That's what I needed to do. And I feel like this season I've been trying to focus a lot on that, just realizing, catching myself, and then doing it. That's the best thing for me.
Yeah, I'd say probably the big thing that I've been working on is communication because I came up through CS:GO without any like normal teammates. I was always out with random players. So I didn't really know how to communicate with my teammates as much. I didn't make as many call outs as I should, or I made call outs that weren't really useful. So I've been really focusing on trying to get the important ones, the important call outs out first. And then if I think something's going to be useful, then tell my team.
I would say we're all on a similar wavelength with, we're all pretty good Counter-Strike players, but I think when you're going to a team environment, the communication is the biggest aspect, like learning how to communicate as a team, and whether that's in-game or out of game. And like as Tomas said, sometimes those post-game discussions that we have, and like we might butt heads and like disagree about a philosophy or about, how this round should have went or like why this round went a certain way. It's been a really good learning experience trying to figure out how to communicate in that team environment. And I think that's something that we all try to focus on just to improve because, we can go in the game and if we're all incredibly skilled, that's one thing. But if we have no synergy and we're not on the same page, we're never going to succeed.
Yeah, good point. And also, Alex, I'd like to get this perspective as well.
Sure. One of the biggest challenges obviously was just through the COVID year, trying to recruit. For basically, I can say for any school across the country, I'm sure numbers were down across the board in terms of recruiting and getting kids to come. And I don't blame them personally because when you're stuck in your room all the time, you're doing Zoom classes, you're online, you're not getting that interaction that you get on a college campus. You're not really going to college. And having to sell that to students to try to come here, even if they're really skilled and they want to come play, they still have to understand that they're a student as well. And trying to sell that student perspective as well as the playing perspective in the COVID world was definitely a tough task. That being said, we still brought in some remarkable talent across the board through all of our teams, League of Legends especially. We have 2 kids that came in this year that are just insane and will definitely elevate the program pretty high. But yeah, that was definitely the toughest thing for not just us, but I'm sure many programs across the country.
Yeah, because I'm sure there was plenty of hesitancy about how is this going to work, and I'm sure it was a lot of uncertainty back then. Fellas, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been really great getting your perspective on things and how you handled the pandemic and what's next for all you guys.
I guess what's next is just keep getting better, keep playing our tournaments, keep playing our matches, and win as many as we can, and focus on the losses to how we can improve and just make our program as good as we can make it.
What's next? Specifically, tomorrow we play University of North Carolina. It's going to be an interesting match. We're placed in a league with some really huge schools, and we're trying our best to learn as much as we can from each match. And as the weeks have been progressing, we've seen improvement. But yeah, we're taking one match at a time, trying to focus and understand what to do to win.
What's next for me is basically keep growing this program. I know when I came here, I basically started it with Max, and I want to see this program take off. I want to see more recruits come in for CS. I want to sort of leave my mark behind while elevating the program. That's what's next for me.
What's next for us as a program as a whole is just to continue growing, continue adding opportunities for students to compete, continue adding opportunities for students to get that real world experience. If they want to go out and work in the esports world, that they have that right out of college and they're ready to go. I know that whenever I got this job, all the experience that I got was basically just me going out there and getting it. And I don't want any student that comes into my program to have to go through the situation that I did where they just kind of had to not fake it till they make it, but just literally scrap together anything that they could. I want to give them those avenues to get that experience. I want to give them those avenues to compete.
Yeah.
And just to become a really well-respected program across the country where we have some people coming out working in some of the bigger names out there in the industry, maybe even someday playing for some of the big pro teams out there. But just at the end of the day, if I can get students to where they want to be, that's a success in my book.
Absolutely. How many games are you potentially expecting in the future for your program?
Right now, we're adding Overwatch, so that'll be our 5th. I imagine in the next couple of years, Valorant will become pretty big in the collegiate space. Riot has League of Legends, which is easily the biggest collegiate esports title. Rocket League is kind of vying for that crown right now with CRL, but with how much support Riot gives the collegiate ecosystem, it's just a matter of when, not if, for Valorant. So I imagine that'll pop up at some point. We'll add that as well. I've had definitely a lot of interest for Battle Royale titles as well. I've had some interest for PUBG, Apex. We've had some Call of Duty interest as well. At the moment, we kind of need to get our facility in a little bit of a bigger space for us to support all those titles. But I'd love to just have it to the point where if a student comes to me and they say they want to start a team, we can make it happen. And that's kind of the end goal for the program.
On that note, thank you so much, fellas, for joining us. This has been Juniata College. Check out their CSGO program as well as their League of Legends and Super Smash Brothers. That's been a great show, fellas. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Welcome back to Age of Coronavirus College Edition. I'm your host, Chase Kurtz, and this is the second half with Juniata College. We're also sponsored by HyperX, which gave me this really amazing Cloud Revolver gaming headset. Let me tell you guys, this thing is a cloud over your ears. I mean, no more ear aches forever. They also gave us this really nice HyperX quadcast microphone that will complete your gaming experience. So don't be afraid to check out those products. And with that, we've got Alex again. Alex Kurtz, the best last name I've ever seen. I love that last name, like always.
The best. It's the best last name.
Also joining him, two other players, one from League of Legends. It's Leonardo Preciado Espinazo, also otherwise known as Leo. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah. And then we also have Jonathan Hopkins. He is a Super Smash Brothers captain.
Thank you.
Also joining us is Samuel Bunker. He is the student community manager for the college's athletics esports program. So he works with Alex directly on the staff. Thank you for joining us, fellas.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
I just want to talk real quick with Jonathan. So you're the Super Smash Brothers captain. I just want to get your take on this. It's just so lovely to see Super Smash Brothers get its due in esports, especially in college. Tell us more about your experience.
Of course. So Smash Brothers has always been more of a grassroots movement in terms of competition. So even starting back in Melee when that started early 2000s, you have venues without really much support from Nintendo or other big companies, partially because it's not more of a team-based sport, and another reason because Nintendo's really lackluster with their esports. They don't really know how to support it in a way. So it's always been up to the community in order to do that. So when I came here to Juniata, I didn't really know there was much of a collegiate scene because of this prior knowledge of I didn't think Nintendo supported it and stuff like that. But we found different conferences where we could compete in, and it's really cool that Juniata represents Smash because it's really different from other esports such as League and Counter-Strike because those are more team-based. You have 5-on-5, Overwatch is 6v6. But for Smash, it's really more individualistic. You do one-on-ones, and even though we have teams of 3 at Juniata and we do crew battles that way, it's still more individualistic, as in you do 1v1s at a time against other opponents, and then your other teammate steps in the after. So it's different in that way, and it's really fun because I like I said before, I didn't really know this competitive scene existed because of Nintendo and the way the community usually runs esports, but it's really cool to see different leagues support it and Juniata support it as well.
Well, you haven't had any problems with Nintendo kind of like, oh, you can't do that, or...
Not yet.
Because they're kind of notorious for that. Let's move over to Leo. He's a League of Legends player. Leo, how's it been so far?
I would say it's been going very well, especially with practice starting a couple of days ago and getting coordinated with our coach/director Alex and getting everybody on board on the B team and on the A team and getting everybody's schedules aligned. I think it's going well so far. In our first year, it was a little rough because we had like multiple roster changes throughout the year, but we were able to get things going as soon as those changes like rolled out or hit us like in the face, and we were able to bounce back in the season and go to qualify for nationals for CLOL, and we also won our conference twice that year. This year we're looking for the same goal, a similar goal, but I want to make it to top 16 at least this year.
I think you can. Do you think that the pandemic made things a little bit difficult for you, or were you able to rise above that?
It made it difficult in the sense of finding times to schedule practices with the many teams and people that are in the facility at a time. With like last year, us like roster facility being like 30, almost 40 people, and then having to schedule Smash practice, having to schedule CS:GO practice, and having to schedule League practice, and like having only a certain amount of people in one room at a time hindered that a little bit. But we were able to get more or less used to it, and we were able to, for sure, overcome that obstacle.
Samuel, tell us how you got started working with Alex on this program.
So, whenever I got started with Alex, I was basically with my high school, and we were doing, we had a video game club, and I did a lot of management for that, helping events, kind of being right under the director who ran that.
Uh-huh.
And pretty much with there, I was really interested in esports, because I also helped run our esports that we had at our high school that Leo was participating in. And Alex reached out to me, and he was like, "Hey, I kind of see what you're doing. I would really love to have you here at Juniata, because I think you'd be a really great fit." And I pretty much took that leap, came to Juniata, and now I'm here as a team community manager.
Alex, what are the specifics that you saw in Samuel that spoke very highly of him in this kind of position?
First off, leadership, just being able to like lead a group that's like from the high school level. I know that can be tough because high schoolers a lot of the time don't like to listen to a lot of things, especially whenever it's a program that's technically like they're just kind of there because they want to be there.
Yeah.
There's no like real official backing. They have a little bit, but high schools are still so much in like the grassroots early stages of actually having programs that a lot of it comes down to how much the students want to put in. And I saw the amount of work Sam was doing, not only with the program that they had, but with just the other volunteer things that he was doing. Like there's an Everyone Games PA thing where he was basically helping running the Discords for that. I mean, he set up multiple Discord bots for our server that we have here.
Wow.
Just his ability to just have everything organized and have everything running well. Something that I kind of had to do beforehand on my own. So he's taken a lot of stress away from me from that regard.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's irreplaceable. We need to. So I'm very glad he's here.
Yeah, it's amazing when you got somebody who can just, you don't have to tell them anything. They just know what to do. And Sam, you also did one event. I don't know, this was in high school for the autism walk?
Yes. Basically at the local high school called, what was it? It was, sorry, Leo, can you help me out here?
Yeah, so we do at our local high school. We did a autism walk where Sam and a bunch of people from the Magna School, which is where he went to school, made like this like computer lab thing in one of like the rooms near the art facilities, and they had like this Minecraft server going up for anybody who wanted to come in and play games. They also had like sessions of like Fortnite tournaments and whatnot. So it was a pretty fun thing for the students who wanted to do that, whether it be a high school student or someone who was on the autism spectrum and they really wanted to go have fun. And I think that was something awesome for the Magnet School to do.
That is pretty cool.
And I kind of helped with like the pre-planning behind that, the scheduling, making sure like the server was ready. There was accounts set up that basically people could come in and just hop down and kind of build those social skills together and just kind of come together and play and just have a great time. That's really what the whole focus was with me kind of taking that role in creating that server and having that opportunity for those students.
Lovely. It was a Minecraft server for teens. So is it a big love for teenagers with Minecraft?
Absolutely. I think it's one of those things that a lot of people can come to have accounts, and it's something that they've either done before,
Mhm.
and they can sit down and play it again, or it's just it's simple, and there's like no like violence to it. Some parents can be like, "Oh yeah, Minecraft, I know what that is. My
Sure.
kid has that."
Yeah.
And that's why it kind of helps. That's kind of why we focused on that as a game for students.
Jonathan, how's the year been so far for you as a captain? Like, what have you learned that you find to be a special ability, a special skill set?
Yeah, there's a few things. We just started practices a few days ago, and we have a team of 9 this semester. And one of the things I found out through working with last semester and the years before is just to have that discipline and have a scheduled, like a certain way to practice. So before, like a year ago, we would just do 1v1s, and we really want to have an idea of what we were trying to practice. We wouldn't really have anything specific we wanted to deliberately work on. Now we're trying to incorporate some like deliberate practice, meaning we have like 1 or 2 things we want to work on for the practice and get better at. For Smash, it's so easy to kind of turn our brains off and just go autopilot and just play the game for fun and not really for growth, when we want to, as a college, play for growth and play to perform later on. So I think one of the things that me and the other people on the Smash team need to understand is we need to deliberately practice certain aspects, practice our weak points, don't just lean in our strengths, and also to scrim other teams. So something we really didn't do that much last year was scrim other teams, and this year we're going to try to commit to do at least like 1 scrim a week every Wednesday against a different college, just to get that hands-on experience. So when we perform, it's not really a whiplash situation.
You're playing and you're working hard. You're figuring things out on your team, but you need time to, because you don't want to get burned out, right? So what have been some practices that you've done to sort of like kind of cool down and just kind of chill? Let's start with Jonathan.
Yeah. So one thing I'm really trying to practice, in general, even out like just as a life skill, is mindfulness. I actually took a class my freshman year here, like a mindfulness class, and we just kind of read like about Buddhism and like that ideology and kind of like Americanized it, like how it's Americanized, and just like that practice in general of just being more aware of yourself. And I try to kind of incorporate that into my play here. So like I said before, Smash is like 3 to 5 minutes of just really trying to hone in and focus, and I'm trying to apply those mindfulness skills into that. And even like outside of the games, just like in between sets or something, it's just kind of focusing back into my breathing and just trying to really focus and trying to push everything else out, push like the stress of the game out, because I really gets to some of us sometimes, and the nerves and stuff like that, and just really focus on my breath, and then next focus on the game and what I'm supposed to do, how am I supposed to perform, and just falling back into like my physical motions and mechanical skills. So I think mindfulness is my thing that I've been trying to practice inside and outside of the esports facility.
Is that close to meditation, or is it just kind of like a version of it?
It's pretty close to it. So like during class, we would the start of class maybe we have like 10 or 5 minutes of just meditation, and we kind of like guided classes, and we went through like a 4-week program of it where we tried to apply it every day. It was a really fun class, and I'm really trying to take it and carry it with me, because it's really helped a lot in focus and staying and being here now when I'm in the moment.
How do you start your meditations? Do you do it with like chanting, or like looking at a light, or just kind of closing your eyes and visualization?
Yeah, just closing my eyes, really focusing on my breathing. Whenever my mind wanders, just bringing it back to my breath. Being in like comfortable sit-in position always helps, and just really trying to focus on bringing the mind back into a focused state, and really just knowing where knowing where it goes, and not having much judgment. Like feelings can come by, but no judgment towards them. Just let them go, and then focus back in, stuff like that.
Leo, how do you handle your stress levels?
I'm starting to feel like stress more because of like the role that like I want to like have for the team, whether it be like finding scrims for the team or just like asking everybody how they're doing, because I don't want like all of this like responsibility to like follow Alex, because he's like our only director here, and there's like 40, almost 50 of us here. So it's very hard for him to keep up with League, keep up with Smash, keep up with CS:GO, and then also find people for Overwatch, which is like what we're trying to start soon. So I think how I handle it is just try to find some time alone for myself, have a cup of tea, and think about what I need to do to accomplish my day, whether it be finish some homework or watch some of my favorite shows. I like to watch anime personally.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I don't like thinking about the game every day, but it's also important as a player to buckle down and hone in your skills and be the best player you can be for your team.
As a director, it's really hard. I'm sure any other esports collegiate director can tell you that it's 24/7 a lot of the time. So basically, any time that I can find to myself, I've found to be like just completely disconnect, get away from work. If I am going to play a video game, I don't play an esports title.
Right.
I'll find something else, an MMO, Final Fantasy 14, Destiny 2, something that's just like not good, like don't have to worry about being competitive. I can just sit back, relax, and kind of enjoy gaming. That's one thing like a lot of people when they come to work in this industry or they come to like play esports is that a lot of times they're playing video games because they enjoyed them. Whenever you're playing video games at a competitive level or like you're trying to coach these players at a competitive level, your mindset very much shifts from this being like your fun hobby to being like it's your job. Like you are here to compete, you're here to win. So basically just anything, whether it's if I'm playing video games, I like to play Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot.
Yeah.
I say during the off times, so just physical card game, completely take me away from the internet for that second.
It's more like an experience than a game.
Yeah, for sure. For mine, I kind of like to if pretty much just stand up, stretch, take a walk. Since our campus, it's it's nice and big. I can get outside and like not even think about what was happening or what was exactly stressing me out. So, I mean, it kind of sounds cliche, but yeah, taking a walk is like the biggest thing for me, and kind of slowing my breathing and really thinking about being thankful for kind of being here and for where I'm at.
Yeah, because you have a great responsibility under Alex to really relieve him even more. So, so
Absolutely.
Definitely understand that scenario. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We want to see all these games grow at Juniata College. So, again, thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.